Hello and welcome to today's episode of Curious Austrian Tours. I'm going to be speaking about the Norman invasion. Edward the Confessor restored House of Wessex rule after the death of Danish King Arthur Canute. William, Duke of Normandy, a relative of King Edward, claimed that Edward had promised the English throne to him years earlier, but Harold II said that Edward had named him and thus claimed the crown on Edward's death, despite having no royal bloodline. William and his army invaded England and set up a base in Hastings. Harold was fighting the Norwegians at the Battle of Stamford Bridge. He won the battle by killing Hardrada and hurried back south, but in October 1066, William defeated and killed Harold at the Battle of Hastings. The Normans had better training and equipment. Harold's army was exhausted from their earlier battle. There was strong resistance from the English lords as William marched towards London, where he was crowned on Christmas Day. William went home to Normandy, returning to deal with the unrest in the west, Kent and Exeter. William struck back swiftly against a more serious uprising and consequently subjugated northern England in 1069, known as the Harrying of the North. The most important things the Norman conquest brought to England were, for instance, the feudal system, as I mentioned briefly just before. It was developed by William as he gave out lands in return for military service. We also had motte and bailey castles were introduced by William the Conqueror by the Normans, and they definitely redefined warfare in England, and also they reduced kind of the importance of large-scale field engagements. The motte was a raised mound upon which a fortified tower was built, and the bailey was a courtyard surrounded by a wooden palisade which occupied an area around the part of the base of the mound. Now the whole structure was further protected by an encircling ditch or a moat. Now you would find these castles in both in rural settings as well as built-up urban settings. And in some cases, they might have even been converted to stone versions as early as in the 12th century AD. If we look at the Tower of London, most famously the White Tower, which had been built by William the Conqueror, the way Norman architecture also affected other parts of society are churches. Now the Norman Romanesque cathedrals were also built. It's a very typical, beautiful style in my opinion. For instance, Canterbury Cathedral, Winchester Cathedral, Durham, York, to name a few. The Anglo-Saxon landowning elite was almost totally replaced by the Normans. The majority of Anglo-Saxon bishops were also replaced with Norman ones, and many dioceses' headquarters were relocated to urbanized centres. The Doomsday Book, which I mentioned in the video, a detailed and systematic catalogue of the land and wealth of England. It was compiled around 1086 AD. A major change as well, which affected drastically the future of the country for many centuries, is that the two countries of France and England became historically intertwined. So initially, just due to the land ownership, for instance, the Norman nobles, the wealthy, they were holding lands in either country. And back then, the vocabulary and the language in general of the Anglo-Saxon Germanic language was drastically influenced by the French language. Hence why we've got so many French-based words in the English language. It introduced us also to new architectural feats, such as the Norman arch. You could see it a lot in that Norman architecture, where the rounded arches which Romans gave us have been more and more replaced by pointy arches, which made it possible to build even larger buildings and more floors, because the distribution of weight, gravity, would be split because of the pointy arch. And last but not least, they introduced us to new table manners. Yes, they did. Proper table etiquette. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I look forward to welcoming you soon. Cheerio!